I'm Kellis Robinett. Here's my man, Tony Adame. We're down here in San Antonio 3 days before the Alamo Bowl. It was chilly down here today, a day for defenses to get after it, and so it was appropriate that we got to speak with both defenses from Kansas State and UCLA. I think both teams kind of have the same goal in this one. They're going to do everything they can to shut down an offense they haven't seen a whole lot of this season, but it was kind of interesting that they had such differing styles, at least approaches going into it today, with one team coming in totally suit and tie, really all business-like. The other staff coming in with a coach wearing a backwards hat. It was kind of interesting the way they were approaching it, don't you think?
Yeah, with UCLA, they were so laid back and just kind of that California cool, I guess you would describe it as, with the defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, was just, totally laid back. The players were in tracksuits. It seemed like they were having a pretty good time.
Yeah, well, both teams have been to SeaWorld in the last few days. UCLA's been out to watch a Spurs game, so they're relaxing. I think it's interesting that this is kind of the point in the bowl game where both teams really get down to the most important time where they're really grinding and trying to do the last few things they can to win. We saw a little bit of that at Kansas State's practice today. What little of it we did get to see, the guys looked focused, didn't seem too bothered by the cold. I think they're ready for this game.
What did you think about their guys that came out today and what they had to say about containing specifically Brett Hundley, the UCLA quarterback?
I thought it was interesting that UCLA, a team that is very sack-prone, that's given up 38 sacks this year, I thought it was interesting the way that they said that, yes, they'd love to get sacks, especially Ryan Mueller. This might be his best opportunity all year to show the highlights that he did last season, regain his junior form. But I think that's secondary to making sure you have him contained and don't get beat on the big plays, because just necessarily if you get 1, 2, or even 3 or 4 sacks, you might get beat in other ways when you're over-pursuing and just going for the home run every time. So that was interesting that they said, yeah, they want to be aggressive, they want to do what other teams have done, but they also don't want to just go in and say, we're going to go all out on the sacks.
With UCLA's defense, on the flip side of that, they have so much to account for with, Tyler Lockett is somebody who each one of them know almost everything about him, everything he can do, and it was funny to hear them describe their K-State's offense as kind of this bag of tricks, basically, where they really don't know what they're going to get each game. And if you're a K-State fan, you've kind of seen that this year. It comes from different spots, but mainly from Jake Waters, who we're going to get the offensive out tomorrow.
And I think the most interesting question we've seen so far is when you ask players or coaches from each team, who does Kansas State and who does UCLA remind you of? We've heard K-State say they actually UCLA reminds them of themselves. As if they compare them to anyone, it would be Kansas State. You don't hear that very often. UCLA saying they're like a mix of Arizona and some other teams. So it'll be an interesting matchup with both teams trying to play chess around each other.
Yeah, and like I said, tomorrow we've got the offensive coming out, and with UCLA, I know everybody's really excited to hear from Brett Hundley and hear what he has to say about K-State's defense. But anything else you want to add?
No, just check back in tomorrow.
Yeah.